name is Tyler Mills. I work at American Bank of the Carolinas in downtown Monroe. I'm a commercial loan officer. I also do consumer loans and all the underwriting, credit analysis stuff at the bank. So basically any loan that comes in the bank, if it's not one of my own, I'll do the financial analysis, and I don't necessarily approve loans, but I give a recommendation as to whether or not I think the loan can be made from the bank's point of view. So I went to University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill in 2018. I think I started in 2018. I started off as a political science major. That's what I was going in as. Before I even started, though, I decided to change to psychology. It's my favorite class in high school. My senior year I took it, and I was like, yeah, I think I'd rather get into that and just see how it goes. I think I'll enjoy that more. But I went into college with the goal of getting into law school. That was my plan. It kind of sped up because I decided to graduate a year early. I had some credits from high school, taking some college courses during high school. So I decided to graduate a year early, and so that sped up my timeline. I took the LSAT, which is the law school admissions test. I did well enough to get into law school, but I wasn't 100% sure I was ready to commit to 3 more years, and so I decided to graduate with my bachelor from Chapel Hill in 2021 instead, and just kind of see what happened after that. So my story's kind of weird. I had applied to Wake Forest as a early decision applicant, which meant if they accepted me at that point, I was basically signed to have already accepted their acceptance. So if they decided to defer me to regular application, and so I was ready to go ahead and have that set in stone where I was going. Carolina accepted me in their early application process, so I decided to just say, okay, I'm going to go to Carolina. My wife at the time was already there. She was a year ahead of me. That wasn't a reason for it. Carolina and Wake Forest were right beside each other, but I would have preferred to go to Wake. Of course, it ended up being a lot cheaper to go to Carolina. They made the right decision at the end of the day, but there wasn't a specific reason that I decided to go to Carolina. That was just, I was really between Wake and Carolina. Whichever one accepted me first, I was content with that decision. So I decided to, again, major in psychology. The reason was, again, in high school I took a psychology class through South Piedmont Community College. I really enjoyed it. I thought learning about how psychology works, the brain works, the social part of psychology, I thought it was all really interesting. And so that's why I decided to go into that in college. And actually, once I started in psychology, I didn't change my major. There was no application for it in terms of post-college that I had in mind. I think therapy would have been fun to get into, but I was never, again, it was one of those things with graduate school. I wasn't 100% sure I wanted to commit 3 or 4 more years of schooling to do a job that I didn't know I wanted to do. And so that's, I never had a real change in terms of my education. I did change minors. I added a coaching education minor, and that was just because I've always wanted to get into coaching post-education. I loved my coaches. I enjoyed sports, financial coaching, anything like that. And so I thought that would be an applicable degree to have in the professional world. So I did add that. In terms of my career, I didn't have an idea exactly what I wanted to do aside from law school. And so I went into my senior year, and when I decided not to apply for law school, I was kind of hit with this reality of I need to figure out what I'm going to start with right out of college. And so I applied to a couple of different jobs and did a couple of interviews. And that was just, the first interview was really nerve-wracking. I was worried. I was like, I did okay, but I'm not going to hear, they never told me anything back, didn't hear from them. So that was stressful. I said, okay, so if I'm not even going to get feedback on how I did, how am I supposed to improve? Ended up getting an offer to sell health insurance in Charlotte for a company that was a third-party insurer. So I did that for a few months, and then after I went to a social event in Waxhaw it was a political event, I got this job opportunity from someone at the event who saw me socializing with some of his clients there, and he was like, wow, he's doing a really good job just interacting, and looked comfortable talking to people he didn't know. And so that's how I got this job opportunity. I interviewed with American Bank in 2021. I think it was August 21, and decided, yeah, I think that'd be a better option for me than what I'm currently doing. Of course, it was closer and now I've been there for 2 years and really enjoying it. The importance of internships, shadowing, getting into a field and actually seeing what it's like is so important. My freshman year of college, like I said, I was wanting to go to law school. That was my plan. I did a summer internship with the district attorney's office in Union County. That was a great experience for me to see what criminal law looked like from the state point of view. It was a great experience. I had a good time, and I came out of it with the idea that I didn't want to do criminal law, and that's the only kind of law I had looked into. So that's what kind of started my thought process of maybe I don't want to do law school. And if I wouldn't have done that, then I could be a lawyer right now. And I think the importance of having that and during that for a couple months was a good kind of peek into the future of that could be my life. Do I really want to commit to that? Another one was my dad owns a poultry business in Marshville. He sells equipment. And so I've been into that kind of my whole life. I wouldn't say it's an internship, but seeing how he works and what he does every day. It's not that I didn't for sure not want to do that. I wasn't sure, again, that that's something I wanted to commit to for the rest of my life kind of thing. And so that's why getting into those fields and trying it is so important, or else you're not going to know until you do. And so that helped me kind of avoid, I think, going to 3 extra years of college was the internship at the DA's office. And then again, not to say I won't ever work for my dad or at the business he has, but it's allowed me to venture out and do my own thing. So I never had, again, a concrete idea of the career I wanted to have. I went into sales, insurance sales to start, but while I was applying for jobs to start, while I was still in college, loan officer showed up a few times in some different places, and so I applied for those. I had read up about them, I was excited about them, and I interviewed for 1 or 2 spots, and most of what I heard was you need lending experience, you need banking experience to get a job like this, and you're coming out of college. And I never had any finance classes in college. I was a psych major. I was in the sciences and math, so I never had any specific finance experience at all. And so that was the one knock I had in my interviews. And so I decided, okay, so if I can't get into that, let me try something different. I always liked talking to people, so I wanted to be in some kind of sales. So that's why I started in insurance sales. And this opportunity came up, and I said, okay, it's not direct sales. I'm not selling a product to a customer specifically, but at the same time, I am able to help people get to where they want to be. Small businesses, I've helped loan them money to build their business, and so it is still kind of a type of sales, and that's the career I've always kind of wanted to lean towards, was selling something so that way I could interact with people and help them get where they wanted to be. So American Bank, like I said, they approached me after I went to that social function, and the opportunity just felt right. It's in downtown Monroe. I've been in the area, aside from my college years, my whole life. The people there, I had only heard good things about. They said it's a community bank. It's not corporate, so if you need to talk to the president, he's right down the hall. If you need to talk to your boss, the chief credit officer, he's right down the hall. It just felt like a great opportunity for me to get into banking and finance and that whole world, while having the opportunity to see it from the president's point of view, from your boss's point of view. You're right there, kind of in it, and not just if I would have started at a larger bank, I feel like I would have had a harder time grasping all different aspects of it. And so that was my big draw, was I had the chance to interact with people who have been in finance for 40 years, who've been in banking, and see it from all different levels, and not just I'm starting in credit analysis, so I'm only going to get that point of view. I think I've been able to kind of get it from a chief credit officer's point of view, a CEO's point of view, the lending point of view, and the credit point of view. So that's been a great opportunity. I think in terms of ups and downs, my career has been rather short so far, 2 years really in the professional world. I wouldn't say I've had any downs aside from when I did sell health insurance. It was a full commission-based thing, and so I was only in it for 2 months. I think I made $1,500 in 2 months. That was a real culture shock for me coming out of college. I was prepared. I did well in college. I always did well in school. I felt like I was doing a good job, but it's one of those things where I'm still learning the product, and I didn't get a chance to fully once you make a few sales, it gets easier. And so I was getting towards the end of that when this other opportunity came up. So I wouldn't count that as a down, but it was a reality check for me where I was like, okay, this is, the real world is tough. There's some things that'll happen, and at the end of the day, in terms of regrets, I don't regret it, right? Any experience to me is a good experience. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't do it again, but that's not to say I wouldn't recommend it for somebody who's interested in something like that. In terms of schooling, no regrets. I enjoyed it. I loved college at UNC. I would go there again. One day I might look back and say, yeah, maybe I should have done law school. Maybe I should have done a graduate school. And that's not to say I won't in the future, but at this point, I'm very happy with my path to where I'm at. If I had a message to a high school senior, it would definitely focus on not being afraid to take a risk, to take a jump. You have to at some point, and if you're going to take the risk, take it with 100% effort. Take it and go with it. Don't just say, okay, well, I'm going to try it. I'm going to give it half effort, see how it goes. If you're going to try something, make sure you give it 100% effort so that you can really decide whether it's something you enjoy, want to do for the rest of your life, kind of thing. When I took that health insurance sales job, I had to get 2 licenses to get it, and had to take exams to get those licenses. That was a risk. At the end of the day, I decided to change career paths after that, but I don't regret it. And so I think what I said a little bit ago, if any experience is good experience, take risks, take experiences. You can use them in the future. It's not once you try this and you hate it that it was wasted. It's not a waste. It's just an experience that you can use for future interviews even. You could say, yeah, I tried it. I thought I was good at it. I decided it's not something I want to continue to do, and that's why I'm looking for something else. So that's what I would say. Definitely take risks, but give good effort at the same time. I think in terms of my career path, I kind of wish I would have stayed at college for the extra year and not graduated early. That's a pre-career thing, but I think that would have gave me a little bit more time to decide exactly what I wanted to do after college. In terms of the career path I've had, it's only been two real career places that I've been at, so I wouldn't do any of that differently, but I do wish I had that one more year of college where I could say, okay, well, I really had time to think about exactly what I want to get into, and I committed to applying to that sort of job and found the right place. I can't say I had because of law school and my decision making, I didn't have the time to do that. I kind of felt like I was rushed into picking a place, and at the end of the day, it ended up working out, but again, I kind of wish I had that time. So right now, again, I'm still doing all the underwriting for the bank. That's the one thing I'm ready to be out of. Again, I like talking to people. I like interacting and especially working side by side with entrepreneurs, business owners, and trying to improve their businesses. So as soon as I can, hopefully within the next year, I can be a full-time commercial lender and move into the full business side of it, and not I like talking to people and staring at my screens all day, underwriting loans, looking at finances. I don't mind it. I just rather be out of it. As a high school student, I think it's really important to appreciate the time that you have in high school. Even me, I guess I'm 5 or 6 years removed now, I still don't fully appreciate the teachers I had, the coaches I had, the clubs I was in. I mean, you have so much time to learn and try different things in high school. And if you take it as I'm just here to get a GED, I graduated high school, you're not going to come out of it with an experience that you're thankful for. You're going to be like, yeah, I was ready to be done with it. And I think if you really get into the opportunities that the Union County provides, the schools provide, that you'll have a much better foundation for your professional life, or whether it's college, Army, whatever you decide to do. I think you'll appreciate what high school provided more so than if you don't take it that way.